Hello, my name is Christine Milland. I'm an instructional designer at Edgewood College in Madison, Wisconsin, and this is a screencast tour of the course I'm submitting for the Catalyst Award in Teaching and Learning. It is Microbiology, Bio 312. It is a face-to-face course that has both in-class sessions as well as lab sessions. The instructor is Dr. Zachary Pratt, and he and I worked on the design of this course. I was more in a consultant role in guiding him to achieve a vision that he wanted, which was that he felt that students were not utilizing the text, they were not coming to class prepared, there was a lot of content that they were really wrestling with and just not getting as much time with. So he wanted to build in features of a flipped classroom by making material available, for example, his lectures and course information, course content information outside of class time to encourage them to review the material ahead of time as well as after the course. In between class sessions. So let me give you a quick tour of his class and some of the features that I feel really make this course stand out. So he started out with a concept of really wanting to make the Blackboard site as open and welcoming as possible, as invitational as possible, and as organized as possible so that students would continue to go back to it every time they needed to, and that they could find everything they needed for his class in this site. So for the first few weeks of the course opens up here on his welcome site. He has this great visual being microbiology about how all microbes are welcomed. He has some great information about himself and why he moved to Madison, and then gives the students some basics about what they can expect from the class. So right away he sets the tone. After that, after a few weeks, he has the course open on the announcements sections. He gives them course basics through the syllabus, as well as he provides this really great snapshot of his schedule so they can quickly see when he's available for office hours and when he's unavailable, as well as a reminder of when they're supposed to come to class. He has a section on due dates, and that is the Blackboard calendar. This is the master site for the course, so it does not contain that data, so I won't show that to you. Let me scroll through the navigation menu a little bit further here. I'll come back to the unit section here. This is where all of the course content is. So he has every unit, major unit of the course, and then within those units he has lessons that utilize the learning module function in Blackboard. He also has the lab information here, and he has groups do weekly reviews. Again, since this is a master site, we don't have groups set up. I'll come back to some of the voice threads that he did as student activities. I'll come back to that in a moment. I also want to show that he utilized many of the communication tools that Blackboard has available. So using breaking the group into small groups. I think he had about 60 students between the two sections of this course. He used journals. Here are some examples for them to go deeper with the content individually. He used discussion areas, and these he designed to be anonymous posts so any student could ask him any question about the content, as well as, and this is my favorite thing, they could talk to Zach himself about any question they had that might be outside of one of these other subject matter areas. So he really made himself available to them throughout the course and through the use of these tools. They had a group wiki, and then they also had some blogs that they participated in. So really penetrating both with social presence and with various learning modes, utilizing all these different tools in Blackboard to give students many ways to work with the student and connect with him, or work with the content and connect with him as well. He also set up a tools section here so students could find their grades. He has a tutorial section, some information on the Blackboard tools that are using. So he's got that page enabled there, as well as in the tutorial section he tells them how they're going to be communicating and what his expectations are with the various tools that they're going to use in Blackboard. He gives them a refresher on online etiquette, as well as some demonstration videos about the different tools. So how to get through Blackboard and the particular site, the course site. How to use VoiceThread. There were some particular things they were going to do in VoiceThread, and he wanted to make sure that they could follow that. Also, he was able to video record each of his in-class lectures, so he created his own YouTube channel for those lectures that students could also preview. So he starts with how to navigate Blackboard, and then every major lesson within the course has a video lecture that corresponds to that. So really great use of linking outside Blackboard tools into the course site as well. The bulk of the course is in this unit section, so I want to walk you through that as well. So each of the major units is here, and you can see he has a really nice consistent flow of organization here. So it's very clear that this is the section where they're going to find the most course content. Within each of the units, he utilized the learning module format, and so he chunked out that information, broke it down into smaller lessons that would correspond with their class experience, as well as review questions and practice exams. So within the lessons themselves, for example, if we go to Macromolecules Lesson 1, here is the learning module format. Students can quickly see here at a glance what they're going to be experiencing during this part of the course. So this lesson has all of the information here that they need about macromolecules. It's got the reading, it's got review questions, it's got guiding questions, what you should be able to define and do in this course. So really guiding them the whole way. Let me go in here. So what he was able to do as well and embed in the lessons was he took his content, put it into 1 to 2 minute mini lectures that he notated with a tool called Doceri, and then he loaded those into VoiceThread. So here's an example of a mini lecture he did. So he tried to keep them really brief, so not too long, and in bite-sized, digestible bites of information. So here he's got a micro lesson, a mini lecture on macromolecules, and students can go through this. He uses the Doceri function to annotate. So in certain of these lectures, there are drawings and notations that he makes between visuals and content. He also, by putting this in VoiceThread, they can utilize the features of VoiceThread, so they can make the image larger, they can reply to him with a comment, and they can have a mini dialogue within this one lesson. So really great use of a Blackboard Link tool. So he utilized the VoiceThread LTI to create these. Let me go back into the course here. Then what he also did using the VoiceThread LTI was he had students create their own VoiceThread activities. Some of these were done individually and some of these were done in groups. He has created a couple of example VoiceThreads for us to look at that do not have student identifying information in them. So I'll show those to you now. Zach has done a great job too. By doing this, he was also able to show student work to other faculty at 2 faculty development sessions. So really being out there in our campus as an advocate for making the most use of their Blackboard site, not only for your own organization and goals as an instructor, but for students' use and their own individual needs as learners. So here is a VoiceThread example that I'll show you that he did on having students describe an enzyme structure. So let's take a look at that.
Hey, this is Carla. I'm going to be talking to you about the enzyme and the different parts of it. I decided to cut this out instead of draw it, just for it to be easier for me. So let's start with some of the terms that he wants us to point out. The first one is the active site. So the active site is where the enzyme binds to the substrate. So this is my enzyme. This is my substrate. Where they bind, this entire area right here, is the active site.
So I think that's just an outstanding activity to show how that student, they all got the same instruction prompt, but that student was able to showcase learning in a way that was meaningful for her. And so she built her own enzyme model. And the VoiceThread tool allowed Zach to view it and then reply in comments to her. So what he would occasionally do during the live session of this course was he would ask some additional questions and not provide answers, but give some redirection of, have you considered this, or what makes you think it might be this, and really push their learning a bit. And so again, utilizing that tool, and then they can respond in VoiceThread using voice, audio, or text, which makes it a meaningful tool in that way, and that they can use the response of their choice. This is a second activity he did where students had to learn how to demonstrate dichotomies. And this is a foundational concept that they used throughout the course. So he had them do it with a dichotomy of their choice. In this case, we'll look at the student.
Hey guys, so I did my dichotomous key using fruit, specifically the 6 fruits: green pear, avocado, banana, tomato, red apple, and strawberry. So the first question I asked was whether the fruit is red, or is the fruit red, and for yes, it would either be tomato, red apple, or strawberry, and if no, then it's green pear, avocado, and banana. So for the no,
again, with this activity, as with others, Zach would be able to reply in the comment section and point out any places where maybe the fundamental questions up here didn't set up an accurate dichotomy. And so I saw many of these throughout the course, and you could really see how students were grabbing on to the content, but in their own ways that were meaningful to them. So that's a really quick look at this course. I hope you found it helpful in review, and it was a pleasure to showcase it to you. Thanks for your time.